Hello and welcome to my review of the Warhammer 40,000 Conquest issue 69. As always, this issue will set you back £7.99 and this particular issue includes a Plague Marine Champion on the right, which would normally set you back £17.50. So yes, you are saving £9.50, and that's a good job because issue 70 only contains 2 paints for the issue's price. So as always, I like to have a little recap of the issue. It talks about the Dark Angel successor chapters. You've got the Angels of Redemption, Absolution, Vengeance and Blades of Vengeance. Then you've got the Consecrators, Disciples of Caliban, Angels of Defiance and Guardians of the Covenant. So it gives you many ideas of, different ways to paint your Dark Angels if you want to go down that route. Armies of the Imperium, Astra Militarum. A bit of a showcase with the tanks. They need a huge refresh, let's face it. And it's Astra Militarum showcase. More of a showcase here with Tempestus Militarum and Jungle Fighters. And then the Indomitus Crusade. I'm sure we've had something like that before. A little bit more about that. And the Demons of Nurgle, Epidemius. It's an old model from Games Workshop. You can still pick him up. There he is. And Legacy of Secrecy, and then how to build Plague Marine Champion. Very straightforward. You'll have him done in no time at all. And then how to paint him, and the Nurglings. And that's what you get. I mean, I paint the Nurglings Death Guard green with highlights of Nurgling green anyway. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Mission briefing, and then outflanked, and that's it. As we can see here, the next 2 issues, you've got issue 70, which just has 2 paints, but issue 71 does have the Sector Mechanicus crane, which is very nice. It will complement the 2 servo haulers that we had in a previous issue. So let's have a look at the mini himself before we go through some size comparisons and then onto his rules. Now, I didn't use the amazing little Nurgling in this mini because I've already got this mini before, and I put a helmet on him. I put the Nurgling on the bottom and the other Nurgling on the top. But as you can see, a fair amount of detail on this mini. It's going to be like your other Death Guard. Fantastic joy to paint with the brass and the sword and the chainmail and the bone and even his sort of head with the bone jutting out of it, or tentacle jutting out of it, and there's even some look at some of the inner workings of the armour. I think I literally just cut this guy off the sprue, tied it up a little bit and then put them together. That's why you can see the mould lines. I haven't really been that fussed about them for a couple of these Conquest minis. I will go through them all with a magnifying glass before I spray them, of course, as I always do. So that's the Plague Champion. Here are the spare parts. You get 3 spare parts, so you get the alternate kind of Cyclops head, I want to call it, with a flange. That's what one of those is called. It's a really wicked head, but it means I can use this on another Plague Marine. Then you get one of the coolest Nurglings around with a helmet. And then you also get another Nurgling right here, holding one of these kind of incense toxic ball things, with a lovely grin on his face. Yeah, you've got some cutouts there for where he would slot onto his power plant, but I didn't use him. It means I can use these 2 on their own base. Maybe I can make a base full of all the spare Nurglings, because I'm getting quite a few of them now. So yeah, 3 spare parts, still a decent kit if you were to pick it up for £17.50. I'd still recommend it, and I do have a review of it separately somewhere on the channel. Okay, on to size comparisons then. I do actually have a hero from the Space Marine Heroes Series 3 set here. He's not fully painted, so go easy on me, but essentially he's going to be pretty much exactly the same height as the current champion. And then I like to compare his size with the usual 3 Imperial models, which we've got Legacy Space Marine, Primaris, and then Sly Marbo. If we look at the normal Space Marine, he is bigger. Nurgle, the Plague Marines are bigger than the standard Space Marines, only by a little bit, but they are more kind of bloated because of the gifts of Nurgle. If we look at him compared to Sly Marbo, what you would expect, towers above him as a Space Marine. And then Primaris does tower above them. There's a bigger height gap between these Plague Marines than there is between the Space Marines and Plague Marines. I want to make that point very clear, that these Plague Marines are in no way rivaling the height of your Primaris. We may get Primaris Plague Marines in the future, now that the gates have been opened to Primaris being able to be corrupted and having flaws in the gene seed and stuff. So yeah, watch this space. I think we will get Chaos Primaris at some point now. The lore is definitely going in that direction. You know, whether that's a good thing or not, I'm just here for the cool looking minis. As I always say. Okay, so rules wise, you'll find his rules in your 2017 Death Guard Codex. The new Death Guard Codex is coming out soon. It was meant to come out this side of Christmas, and Games Workshop did actually say a while ago that there would be 4 Codex releases before Christmas. They failed on their statement. They blamed COVID for their delay. If they can blame COVID on the delay, it's not too far of a stretch of an imagination for them to blame COVID on anything in terms of their quality of their books that they've recently released, their prices. It's kind of like a bit of a scapegoat now that they've officially used it as an excuse. It's a bit disappointing that we're not going to get Death Guard before Christmas, but you know, it is what it is. We have to deal with it. There is going to be a new Blightlord Terminator champion coming out next year, along with the scenery kit, along with the new codex. Unfortunately, I do think that the new codex is going to be a bit of a disappointment, like the Necron and Space Marine codexes were. I think it's going to be mainly focused on the game rather than the lore and you know, description of units, which I'm a big fan of. What I mean by that is, with the codexes and supplements and things, I expect there to be the bare minimum of what there was last time, and there isn't. It's yeah, a bit disappointing. What you get from this today is you'll get that this champion actually has a worse stat line than what's coming up. What's coming up is you'll get him with 3 attacks instead of the 2, and you'll also get him with 2 wounds instead of the 1. So just bear that in mind as I go through his rules today. So Plague Marine Champion, you could technically have him as a Chaos Lord if you wanted to, although he is a Plague Marine Champion. Plague Marine Champions are typically in the Plague Marines troop choice, which is a power points cost of a 7 and a points cost of 19. I did find it a little bit odd that they released a Plague Champion and also a Plague Marine with an Icon of Despair separately, because you can make both of those in a Plague Marine box set. So you either pay the £30 or £32.50 or whatever it is for 7 Plague Marines, or you pay, you know, £17.50 each for the champion and the Plague Marine with an Icon of Despair. It's still nice that they give you that options and they've made dedicated kits for it, but I'm just highlighting that if you were to buy the 7 of them, you can make both of those models within the kit, and that saves you a bit of money. So the Plague Marine Champion, its current stat line then, as of 2020, is movement speed of 5 inches, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 5, 1 wound, 2 attacks, leadership 8, and a save of 3+. Again, as I mentioned, we're likely to see its wounds go up to 2 and its attacks go up to 3. You can accompany this Plague Marine Champion with 4 Plague Marines, but the number of Plague Marines you can have in the unit is 20 in total. They're equipped with Plague Knife, Bolt Gun, Blight Grenades and Crack Grenades, but the Plague Champion may replace his Plague Knife with a Plague Sword, which is what he has. The Plague Champion may replace his Bolt Gun with a Bolt Pistol, Plasma Pistol or Plasma Gun. He's still got his Bolt Gun on the back. The Plague Champion may take a Power Fist, which he has, and that's pretty much it for the Plague Marine Champion. His abilities, of course, Death to the False Emperor and Disgustingly Resilient. We'll get a new ability for Death Guard where they'll have status effects to your opponent as the game goes on. They'll be outlined in the new codex. And the keywords is Chaos, Nurgle, Heretic Astartes, Death Guard, Infantry and Plague Marines. Now, I really like Plague Marines and I do like this champion. I've got 2 or 3 units now of Plague Marines, so it's worth. So this champion will feel right at home. And I do think if you did have 2, there are differences there. There are enough differences to warrant having 2 if you were able to get one in this set. What I might do, what I'm still thinking about, is just chop off this bone, because him and the other one are going to look similar in that respect, or maybe just like chop it off that it's like cracked or been bitten off maybe. I'm still deciding on that way, but we'll see. No, we'll see. Anyway, that is my review of the Warhammer 40,000 Conquest magazine issue 69. What do you guys think? And what do you guys think of the Plague Marine champion? Does it really have one of the coolest Nurglings that Games Workshop have produced? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down below as always. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Papa bless.